Hi there, my name is Nicholas Jackson. I'm the Dynamics 365 Business Central team lead here at Opal. What we're going to do in this video is we are going to compare and contrast Business Central versus Sage Intacct, another popular option in the marketplace. First, let's do a little bit of definitions. What is Business Central? Business Central is Microsoft's ERP designed for small to medium-sized businesses, SMBs, that connect financial management, operations, supply chain, sales, and projects into one complete solution. So it's really designed to be a beginning to end solution for your guys' organization. What is Sage, on the other hand? Sage Intacct is a cloud-based financial management solution built to help businesses handle core accounting with greater speed and accuracy. So as you'll see, Sage is definitely more focused on the finances, whereas Business Central really covers the entire organization. So to compare and contrast these, let's take a look at a few different areas of comparing and contrasting and see how they differ. So first, let's take a look at pricing. So Business Central uses a per user license-based model starting at $80 per user per month with no minimums. So that is a full user being able to post and see anything in the system. There is a smaller license where you can, for kind of read-only users, somebody's just going to submit a purchase requisition, things like that, at a much cheaper price. There are, like I said, multiple tiers available. Also, it's all inclusive. Unless you're doing manufacturing and service are really the only two that have a slightly higher price, but everything else is fully included. So with that $80 per user per month, you get access to AP, AR, financials, all access to everything inside of the financials. You have access to light assembly, to inventory management. Again, you get absolutely everything with those licenses. For Sage, on the other hand, there is custom pricing based on modules. So it has user minimums as well. I believe it's 3 or 5 users per year. And lastly, core financial starts at $20,000 per year. So right out of the gate, Sage is absolutely more expensive than Business Central, especially when taking a look at the base minimum. So if you're on the lower side using only 3 to 5 users, then you're going to be paying a lot more for Sage than you would for Business Central. Next, let's take a look at reporting. So what good is a business or what good is an ERP if you can't get data out and you can't take that data and turn that into information, which drives intelligent business decisions? So Business Central has hundreds out of the box reports, a really deep Excel integration for both pulling and pushing data. It has a great easy connection to Power BI for the free Power BI apps. So there's about 8 Power BI apps that are available out of the box with Business Central, and each one of those apps has 10 or so reports associated with it. So lots of really good information there. Lastly, there's also plenty of custom reports. So whether it's using Excel, using native Business Central functionality, there's a deep analyze tool inside of Business Central as well. And there's also custom Power BI reports. We spend a lot of time building custom Power BI reports for clients, and those are really good for providing easy and accurate access to your guys' data and information. Sage uses standard reporting on real-time and role-based dashboards. A lot of people really like these dashboards because they're built into the system and they are pretty easy to navigate and provide some out-of-the-box solutions. They do offer exports to other systems for reporting, but they are relatively limited and they're not as deep and robust as Business Central's are. Next, security. So obviously, Business Central is a Microsoft product, which means you get all of the benefits from Microsoft. So Microsoft obviously has industry-leading security. It allows for SSO out of the box. SSO stands for single sign-on, meaning when you're signed into your Microsoft products, so if you're signed into Outlook or signed into Excel or something else like that in the web, then you're also signed into Business Central automatically. Also, there are dozens of controls via Entra as well. So if you're used to using Entra, which used to be called Azure Active Directory, then you can take that power and those tools from Entra, such as conditional access policies, to do lots of things related to MFA, to do IP whitelisting, to require VPNs or anything else like that, then you can absolutely do that with Entra as well. Sage, on the other hand, has a homegrown security. They don't get a benefit from a larger organization's security policy like Microsoft. They build it on AWS with limited connections to other security platforms. So they do have connections to other things, but they're not going to be as deep and robust as Microsoft's, which is built inside of their ecosystem by Microsoft itself. For features, Business Central has an all-in-one licensing for finance, sales, service management, project accounting, manufacturing, supply chain, and much more. So lots of different areas in the system. Again, Business Central really tries to focus on being really start to finish inside your guys' entire organization. Whereas Sage has extra charges for lots of features. called extended capabilities, or it is actually just missing features that Business Central provides. So Sage, again, really just focuses on the finances, where Business Central really starts, really expands out and goes start to finish. The licensing model is also different. Obviously, with Business Central, it's an all-in-one license. That's what you pay for it, and that's everything that you get. Whereas Sage, they charge extra for quite a few of the features. What about connections to other Microsoft 365 softwares and platforms? Business Central obviously connects natively with lots of other things in the Microsoft ecosystem, as Microsoft likes to do. It has good integrations with Outlook, with Word, Excel, Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive via numerous channels. So using an example, Teams, there are buttons inside of Business Central where you can take a item, for example, and and click share to Teams, and it'll automatically create a Teams link for you. There are nice interactive cards inside of Teams as well for you to click on and interact with inside of Teams. And you can actually give access to other people who don't have access or don't have a Business Central license to be able to view certain things inside of Business Central using Teams, which is great. And then SharePoint and OneDrive, obviously a great way to back up additional documents, to use it as a storage solution, and plenty of other options there. Sage, on the other hand, is limited to an Outlook integration via Intelligent Time, and it can use OneDrive integration as a storage repository for reports. So if you generate a report, it can save it in OneDrive for you, but that's basically the limits of the integration there. Then, in terms of process automation and integrations, Business Central has native integration with Power Automate, the industry's leading Power Automate tool with over 1,000 connectors. So, what is a connector in Power Automate? Power Automate connector is a integration or a connection to another software. So, it could be a Microsoft piece of software. So, it could be Excel, could be Outlook, could be Teams, something else like that. Or it could be a non-Microsoft product. So it could be Salesforce, it could be HubSpot, it could be WordPress, something else like that. Lots of good integrations and connections there. So basically, Business Central is one of those connectors. So you can push and pull data from Business Central into Power Automate and then branch out to any of those 1,000 other connectors and other options and do things like, for example, a very simple integration would be when a new sales order gets created, then put a Teams message in this channel, for example. Very simple integration that would take 15 minutes to set up and it's done forever. You could do more complex ones as well. You can do full integrations between systems. So let's say you had Salesforce and you had Business Central, you could try and write an integration between the two. Power Automate might not be the first tool that we reach for, but it is definitely possible. And we have actually done it internally as well for some of the software that we use. Sage, on the other hand, they do have standard and advanced workflows inside of the software, but they're really designed to connect just inside of the software and not necessarily reach out and integrate with other solutions. They do have some off-the-shelf integrations that you can pull in, but most of the workflows are really designed to handle things like approval flows and things like that. So I'll be honest, where does Sage Intacct win? There's a few places that it wins. They do have some industry-specific additions that suit many small to medium-sized businesses looking for out-of-the-box solutions. So if you have something like construction or something else like that, that is very unique and has some unique requirements that don't apply to other industries, and you have one of the, I think they have 13 or so industry-specific additions. If it fits one of those and you're looking for a turnkey solution, that can be a good fit. However, keep in mind, you're going to pay for it. They're not the cheapest option and they're not the cheapest solution for sure, but they are turnkey. We can do those in Business Central, but they're not going to be as turnkey as you would get from Sage Intacct. Secondly, Sage really focuses on the United States and specifically the accounting community. If you talk to another CPA in the United States, they're probably going to have more experience with Sage Intacct than they are with Business Central. However, Business Central really focuses on global. So US or Sage Intacct, I think, is available in just a dozen countries or so across the world, whereas Business Central is available in, I think, over 150, and it's available in, I think, over 50 languages as well. So where does Business Central win? Cost and licensing, as we talked about before, much simpler and actually much cheaper as well. Flexibility of the software can cover so many different areas and so many different applications and integrations with other systems. Ecosystem, you get the entire Microsoft ecosystem out of the box, which is great. The user base, much more or a much stronger user base for Business Central than Sage. The number of companies that use Business Central versus Sage is much higher. A limited dimensions, this one's kind of getting into the weeds a little bit for accounting, but Both Sage and Business Central use dimensional accounting, so they use dimensions instead of segments to track and tag additional transactions. They have unlimited dimensions inside of Business Central, meaning you can have as many as you would like. For Sage, I think you get two or three, maybe even five or six out of the box, but then at a certain point, you do have to pay for extra. Whereas in Business Central, you can have as many as you would like. You can have a truly unlimited number of dimensions. And then Business Central obviously wins for AI capabilities. It's a Microsoft presentation. I had to mention AI. So it does have AI capabilities with Copilot. It's a very deep integration and it's getting better and better every single day. If you want to learn more about Business Central, check out our page on our website. You can scan the QR code here and you'll learn more about Business Central and other Dynamics 365 applications like CRM that we support. Feel free to reach out to us for a free Business Central assessment if you'd like to learn more. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We've got plenty of videos like this on the way, and our goal is to help you find the right path through Business Central. So appreciate everyone's time. I hope you guys have a great day.